Lemoore Fan by David Smith, Part 2 of Mojave Crossing. After eating lunch, Kevin walks back to the garage to wait for his van. He speaks to Michael, the mechanic, then walks straight to the bookshelf and browses through the Lemoore Westerns. He spots one called Mojave Crossing. Since the Mojave Desert isn't too far from him in Southern California, the idea that it was written using a local area intrigues him. Kevin also reads the back of the book for a synopsis of the story, and it also sounds interesting. The main character in Mojave Crossing is Tel Sackett. He and Maggie had watched a movie with Sam Elliott and Tom Selleck called The Sacketts. Sam Elliott played the part of Tel. They had both enjoyed it. They had talked about both of their fathers reading Lemoore's books. Maggie told Kevin she had read a few herself. Her real father had read them and collected them, then her stepfather did as well. She read a few of them while she was in high school, many times from the back of her horse. She liked them but was too busy to read all the time. Her schoolwork also kept her busy. She had very definite goals. Kevin began the story with Tel seeing the black-eyed witch woman for the first time, chuckling over that description. He liked Tel's direct way of starting the story, which of course was Lemoore's telling of the story. Kevin pictured Sam Elliott in the scenes the author was describing. He was one of his favorite actors and Kevin had seen plenty of his movies. Within the first few pages he was hooked, line and sinker too. The story started in the area of what is now Bullhead City, Arizona. The witch woman asks Tel to take her to Los Angeles and he agrees. Then he realizes he said yes too soon. He's carrying 30 pounds of gold and it's not all his. He also knows he's being followed, but he's already given his word. Tel heard he could get up to $20 an ounce for his gold in Los Angeles. The mining camps in Arizona only paid $16. He plans to buy goods that miners use, return to the mining camps, and sell high. Tel was having his dinner in a saloon where he'd made his deal with the woman. He decides to leave right away. The ferry doesn't cross the Colorado River at night. He and the woman swim across it on their horses. Kevin had spent a lot of time riding horses, but he had never swam with one. Along the trail, Tel had found out the woman's name was Dorinda Robiso, and she was being chased. Now they were both being followed. They didn't share very much information about themselves to each other. Tel was busy watching the trail, ahead and behind, as well as dealing with the horses in the heat. Dorinda was just trying to stay alive. The heat was interfering with their traveling. In the afternoon it was at least 100. With the heat radiating from the sun above and the sand below, it felt like a furnace. Traveling through the Mojave Desert was new to Tel. He had spoken to several mountain men and others who had, and he was counting on this information to be able to find the few springs available. The bad guys catch up and they have a close call, but Tel manages to get them safely away. The next time they're not so lucky. Tel passes out from lack of water and the bad guys leave with the woman, his horses, and the gold. After the third chapter, Kevin went to the snack machine. He bought a bottle of water and a bag of Doritos. Almost an hour had passed and he hadn't realized it. He was enjoying the story so much. He sat back down and started the fourth chapter. Tel wakes up with a bee buzzing in his head and follows it to water. He has another adventure before he makes it out of the desert and into Los Angeles. He's lucky the thieves didn't check his pockets where he had some gold. It was enough to stay at the Pico Hotel, get new clothes, have a bath and a shave, and feel human again. He sees Dorinda right away, but she eludes him. Kevin was partway through chapter 5 when Michael walked into the room. "Your van's ready," he said. Then glancing at the book Kevin was reading, says, "Ah, Mojave Crossing, that's a good one. I've read it twice. I even went down to LA once to see the area. I went to Newhall, the beach, La Brea Tar Pits, Beverly Hills, and Hollywood. It's too crazy down there for me. I'd rather picture it the way Tel saw it and the way Louis describes it." They both laughed. Louis L'Amour is a popular author here in Kern. "I'm not quite finished the book," Kevin said. "Can I take it with me and bring it back in a day or two?" "Go ahead and keep it," Michael answered. "There's likely at least one more there anyway. People are always bringing them. I only had a dozen books there in the beginning. Now there's 100 or more. Looks like a library." "I read Louis a lot myself. He's my favorite Western author, and I read a lot of Westerns. If folks don't start taking more and leaving less, I'll need another bookshelf." They laughed again. Kevin paid for the van and was on his way back to camp. He was very anxious to talk to Maggie about reading more of Lemoore's books.